I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by my co-host with Harrison Bader like hair.
Yeah, it's a weird ordeal. Katie is just proving to be childish.
Which is why I don't feel I would give $5 million to Jack Campbell.
I don't know. Baseball is one of those sports where anyone who makes the playoffs really can be a contender.
I think the Padres definitely do it.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell gets traded.
Kyrie Irving does have the track record of not being a great locker room fit, or even good locker room fit.
Bader got some luscious locks. I gotta say it.
This is Zach Bigley, the broadcaster for the Frisco Rough Riders, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin. You guys better subscribe.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. And just kind of athletics are pretty surprising right now. Of course, that is, I would say, rookie phenom. And that's a good word because of what he's doing, Austin. And for more on that, the man across from me, Austin.
Yeah. The Athletics have cooled off a solid amount, but Jacob Wilson just keeps hitting better and better and better and better. He's currently having one of the most amazing rookie seasons we've ever seen, and I don't use that lightly. Hitting 372 is not something to be taken lightly at all, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely not. Especially in today's age, just 300 is pretty impressive. And then, of course, above that is incredibly high.
Yeah, and if you compare him WAR-wise, in the AL, he is the 9th most WAR in the AL. And if you just look at offensive WAR, it's 3.4, which is the third best. So he's the third best offensive player right now in the American League. And you also have guys like Lawrence Butler and Tyler Soderstrom for the Athletics that are playing really well. Brent Rooker's playing well. I mean, they have a lot of younger players that are playing extremely well. I mean, again, Butler's 24, Jacob Wilson's 23, Soderstrom's 23. That is three guys that are 24 younger. Not even to mention Nick Kurtz, who's 22. He's batting 245, but he does have a 113 OPS plus. So you have four guys right there that are playing very well to insanely well with Jacob Wilson's case that are going to be on your team if you want to actually spend any money for a while and you have full control over them. Now, the question in this video is a little bit of a different light, but I want to first go over, do you think that the Angels try to... We have seen some young guys play really well early in their career and then sign a very long extension. We saw this with Wander Franco before everything happened, but we saw that very early with the Rays. The reason why I bring that up is because the Rays never spend any money, right? They're not known as like a money spender. And so when we all heard that, I was like, oh, that's kind of surprising. We saw something similar with the Mariners, who attempted to go after Jared Kelenic early in his career, but Kelenic said no, and then obviously Kelenic started to not play as well, and he got traded to the Braves, and so they never had to pay him. But we've seen this with a lot of other young players. They sign a very long deal, usually like 8-7 years, to get them through arbitration, where the team's probably actually going to save some money on it if the player continues to increase in value.
Yeah, and I think most recent example is Jackson Chourio. I believe he's already on a contract.
Yes.
That was 8 years. So to that point, and in previous Athletics, I would say no, but you have the Athletics currently in Sacramento moving to Las Vegas, and we both have questions about the viewers, like the attendance with Las Vegas. So I do think they try to work out a deal to where they pay them to keep them, because you also have to think about marketing in Las Vegas, where there are plenty of other options, not just sports, but just lifestyle with gambling and that whole scene. In sports, you have the Vegas Golden Knights, which are really the only team that draws the most from the sports teams in Las Vegas, and that's what leagues are following. But I don't think it has worked out. So I do think you try to work on that. But even if you don't, you still have a competitive team for a few years before you think about signing guys and trading them to get more. Kind of what we saw the A's do when Marcus Simeon to me was a little bit of an outlier, but you had Chapman, who was young on just a rookie contract, Matt Olson, and those were kind of the guys that huge parts of their order where they were playing well, and then they got traded because the A's didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, I don't know. I would, if I were them. I mean, Lawrence Butler's a personality, and he's extremely good. I'd sign him, and I'd definitely sign Jacob Wilson as well. If you're going to get rid of the other ones, maybe you get rid of Nick Kurtz, maybe you get rid of Tyler Soderstrom. Both those guys play for first base. So you may have to make a decision there if you don't want to play one in the outfield, right? You could probably get one for either Soderstrom or Kurtz. But Butler is a star, and so is Jacob Wilson. I don't see how you get rid of one of those guys if you're going to move to Vegas, like you said. If they were going to stay in Oakland for another decade, I think they get rid of them within the next 4 years. But in the light of, hey, we want to make money in Vegas, well, people in Vegas, like you said, have short attention spans, and they're going to need to be pulled to you. They can go anywhere in Vegas to find some entertainment. So why do they come to an athletics game? It's to watch the best contact hitter in baseball at the moment, right? Because Judge does have a better batting average, but he's more of a power hitter than he is a contact hitter in my mind. So, and he's doing this in his rookie season, obviously, Jacob Wilson is. So I would say getting Jacob Wilson and Lawrence Butler signed would be a big part of what the Athletics could do moving forward, but I don't actually know if they do it. The Athletics have gone against what I've thought multiple times in my mind before. So you do think that they sign Jacob Wilson long term? Or at least
yeah, I do think they do because of the Las Vegas thing of how we've both said. Especially with baseball, kind of how that is facing an uphill battle with kind of the perception of going to a game and taking that much time, which I know they've worked on ways to do that, but I don't think people that are going to be in Las Vegas are aware of that fact. So you're going to have to do a lot to bring people in, and having Jacob Wilson would, of course, be great. And then I know we can go back to the idea of can he keep it up, and I think he can, especially with the guys around him. It's not just you bring up Judge, and Judge is more of a power hitter, but he, of course, is hitting well. I think back to that Judge season where, well, it's been a lot of Yankees seasons where Judge is playing well, but the rest of the order is not good. So he's suffering just because teams really aren't pitching to him. They're like, we're okay if you draw a walk. And that is interesting because Wilson is a contact hitter, so he's not really going to have as much power. So he could get to those balls that are more out of the strike zone. But it also hurts when you have guys like Butler, also Brent Rooker as well, Kurtz, as you mentioned, in that lineup and just that hitting ability for guys around him.
Yeah, right now, like I'm looking at the lineup today, they're about to start a game as we're recording between the Angels and the Athletics. And right now it goes Butler, Wilson, Rooker, Soderstrom. And he's actually in a good, they're going to have to pitch to him in that lineup. Now, you may walk him because he's doing so well, but all those guys right there have at least an 800 or 814 OPS is the lowest of any of them, and it's Brent Rooker. Second lowest is Butler at 815, and then 823 with Soderstrom, and then obviously 936 with Jacob Wilson. I think he'll slow down some, but I predict he hits at least 340 this year, and 340 for a rookie is unbelievable. And I do think that would get him the 200 hit threshold. I think he gets 200 hits, and I think he hits 340 on the year.
Yeah, and it's pretty impressive. You mentioned, of course, just in general, but he is the fastest A's rookie to reach 90 hits in a season in franchise history. 66 games, surpassing the previous record of 67 games held by Wally Moses, which was the 1935 Philadelphia Athletics. A lot of other stats were from the 1930s, just from the Athletics. The best one, Al Simmons, Hall of Famer Al Simmons, batted 381 in 1390. So a lot of these stats are that with just personal records from the A's organization. So that would be pretty impressive. And overall, I think this is really huge for the Athletics that kind of needed that jump from the draft, given how they inflicted pain on themselves just by trading away guys and not willing to spend that money.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what the A's do. I do think they desperately need a star. and they have the potential. 4 of them, I really think, but 3 of them are the age, or are playing amazing and are at the age that you can keep them on the team for a decade plus if they really, really wanted to. So I think that they have a good opportunity here. It's just whether or not they're actually going to commit to it.
Yeah, and we'll, of course, keep you updated through that. Let us know your thoughts in the comments and be on the more from Outsiders Opinions. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.